Now, to introduce a very good friend and whom I admire and respect so deeply, being a lifelong maritime welfare advocate. And hindi nyo alam to, no? She's an avid and excellent mountain climber at that. Sabi ko nga sa kanya, sabayan kita minsan isang hindi ko pa natutupad kasi kailangan mag-training, sabi niya. Na? She is a prominent figure in the Philippine maritime industry and is known for her roles, plural, na as the administrator of Mababato, Associated Marine Officers Union of the Philippines, or AMO-SUP. No, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, community development programs. And she is also the founder and president of the Gregorio Oca Leadership and Development Foundation. That stands for GOLD, no? The acronym GOLD Foundation. She is the daughter of the late Captain Gregorio Oca. So how can you be more OG than that, since he was the founder ng AMUSU, and has continued his legacy by developing programs to improve the welfare of seafarers and their families, including educational programs and, as I said, ComDev initiatives. She is also the founder of the GIG and the amazing Sampaguita Foundation, or GASFI. She'll talk about that, in memory of her son, which promotes reading, pagbabasa, among seafarers' children. No? Her advocacies benefiting the huge maritime community are shaped by her vast experience in the industry na nagumpisa, paslit pa lang siya. So na-imagine ko na siya, no? Which began with her interactions with stevedores and seafarers in the docks. Nandun kami ni Juan kahapon, malapit sa Farola, no? During her formative years, she holds an AB degree in economics from the University of California in Santa Barbara and Master of Arts in Hospital Administration from the University of the Philippines. She has also, no, pandagdag, no, graduated from two of our TLC marquee programs, Coaching and Consulting Essentials. I know that was a mouthful, but I will not do justice unless I introduce you properly. My dear friend, please welcome Marisa Oca. Welcome, Maris.
Thank you so much, Susan. Kasing laki ng dagat yung
Syempre.
ng ocean talaga ang ating topic for today. And first of all, I'd like to thank TLC, Susan, and your team for finally napansin nyo ang seafarers and their families, ang aming industry, the people who make the industry run, no? And proudly Filipino seafarers lead the way goods and services are delivered all over the world. Maraming salamat. And ang tubig dapat it belongs to the ocean, no? And it doesn't, let me say na it doesn't belong to the it doesn't belong to inside houses or on roads. Sa dagat lang dapat ang tubig, hindi dapat sa ating mga syudad. And the theme that you chose for this forum, Beyond Remittances, also coincides, I think, with it coincides with the IMO theme for
What's that?
this month, which is Shelly Oceans. Nandito ang notes ko. Dali lang.
Take your time, Miss
IMO kasi
Isang.
'no, minsan wala ako
What
dun sa
does
ano,
what
minsan
does
wala ako sa top
IMO?
line, nandito lang ako sa ground, eh. So ang IMO theme is our ocean, our
I
obligation,
see.
our opportunity. For 2025, is this
Mm-mm.
right? Yes, it's right. And this month is National Seafarer, I mean Maritime Month for the Philippines.
Yes, tumpak, no? Sa totoo lang, Miss Marisa, when we plan for the topics for the year, planado na po ito third quarter of 2024. Na? Talagang nakalatag na po siya, kaya nire-research namin. So ano ba yung sineselebrate o ipinagdiriwang sa buwan na ito? No? So, can you give us just kind of, a high-level understanding of, why this, no? Why this theme? Our ocean, our obligation, our opportunity.
Of
So
course.
that we understand more deeply.
Okay, every year meron tayong International Maritime Organization na themes, no? And we celebrate this worldwide June 25, the Day of the Seafarer. And
Mm.
also for IMO, it also runs across the board for the themes of all their programs. And particularly for the Philippines, September is the month where we pay attention to the maritime industry.
Mm.
To prove that also sa Catholic Church, ang
Mm.
last Sunday yata of the month is dedicated to the maritime, all the workers on ocean,
Mm.
Filipino
Mm.
workers for the country. So
Mm.
even yung intentions for the mass is for the seafarers and family.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you
So
so much.
September yan. That's
Mm.
this month.
So, saktong-sakto po, no? Yung dagat, yung obligasyon natin, at opportunity, no? Oportunidad, no? Lalaliman po natin ang ating pagtalakay at saka pagkakaintindi. Pero gusto ko pong ipakilala yung dalawa pa nating kaibigan, no? Nakasama natin dito. Together with Marisa, we acknowledge and welcome with warm virtual hugs, no? Our partners from the Gold Foundation who are with us today. Dr. Shelley May Sibia leads research and development, and Mr. Bien Carlo Galapon heads the programs of the Gold Foundation. No? Thank you, Shelley and Bien, for being with us today. And let us please all welcome them with a warm round of applause. No? Kahit virtual applause kasi susunod yung applause ni Fida. And thank you, really. We appreciate it so much, the meaningful work you do with Gold in supporting seafarers and their families. So, ulitin ko po, no, kasama po kayo sa talakayan natin sa umagang ito, no? So, feel free to anong gusto nyo kapag meron pong nagpapaliwanag o nagsasalita. All you have to do is raise your hand, click yung reaction button with the raise hand para nakikita na po namin kung sino yung nakapila. No? Para tatawagin po yung first come, first serve. Or you can post on chat, ask questions directly. Pwede po Tagalog, English, pwede rin Bisaya, hindi ko lang maintindihan. Ilocano, aking maintindihan yan. No? And if you have your points of view, no, do share it. Do share it with us. No? So, Marisa, Shelley, and Bien, no? I'd like to throw this first question. I really want to make it very personal, no? Kasi 526,000, parang datos lang siya, no? Ang tanong ko is, behind every statistic is a person, tao, human being, with loved ones, family, no? From your work at the Gold Foundation, may I request you to share one quick story that illustrates the real human struggle behind the term seafarer's plight? no? Yung kasalukuyan nila, o siguro matagal ng karanasan, no? Perhaps a story that touches on the spirit, the heart, on health and well-being, the impact on families, no? I know you grew up with them, Sis Marisa, no? So what is that story, perhaps, that you'd like us to really understand from the heart?
Maybe Shelly, do you have a story? See, Shelly is a daughter of a retired captain.
Oh, wow. Go ahead, Doc Shelley.
And has the doctorate in migrant social graduate of sociology, and has the doctorate in the migrant field. Yeah, from the
Wonderful.
NUS, nonetheless. By the way,
Mm-mm.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you very much, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting us today and putting a spotlight on seafarers and their families. With regard to your question, Miss Susan, I cannot think of one particular just story, but really it's an experience when you're working with seafarers and their families. I think if there's one thing that really stuck with me with working with Gold Foundation is that the Gold Foundation has provided, with Mama Riz at the helm, a home for seafarers and their families, especially seafarers when they're in transit, because seafarers are always in transit. They're always
Mm.
either on their way home to go to their home to their families or about to leave. And during that precarious time, they really don't have a home. Most of them don't have homes here in Manila, or they're waiting
I
for,
see.
or they're waiting for, while they're undergoing seminar, they want to have a home. And
Mm-mm.
even their families, who do they speak with? So Gold Foundation, along with GASFI and actually the Gregorian space that provided by
Mm-mm.
Mama Marisa, we provide that to them. So in any given time, you will see seafarers in our office, that they
Mm-mm.
stay there, they get to talk, they get to, not just to us, but to other people, and then also their families. So our
Mm-mm.
family members, they seek advice or
Mm-mm.
how to go about certain things. So and they get to interact with us as well. So it is through these interactions and exchanges that we hear their stories, and then we really
Mm-mm.
come up with programs or projects to address these, as you call them, plights, but maybe you can call them better as issues, so that
Yes,
there's more of
yes.
a
Oo.
positive spin to it.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you very much, Shelley. What about you, Bien? No, is there one story? Kasi you deal with them, no, and there's lots of them. It's like they come, they go. As you said, Shelley, they're in transit. Do you recall one story? It's like about that about either something that made you feel proud, joyful, or something that kind of like made your heart bleed, from your encounters with our seafarers, no, whatever position they held. Bien?
Yeah, thanks, Susan. Good morning, everyone. So, my work in Gold Foundation primarily with working with the seafarers themselves.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes, if I remember it right, way back 2018, I'd like to share this. This is a morning drama. Is it okay? Because this is the reality of
Oh,
seafarers,
absolutely,
the life of
absolutely.
seafarers.
Just the
All right.
brutal facts.
So our work also welcomes volunteers from the seafarers, and then making them aware of the issues and be part of the solution addressing that issue, certain issue. So we had one time we had this I call this a Taal volcano eruption, some sort of, and then
Mm-mm.
we needed to come up with a relief operation. So I had seafarers who volunteered to that relief operation. So there's
Mm-mm.
that one seafarer who used to be always working with us with and then always attending our seminars and trainings. And that time, yeah, so he was actively participating to all our activities in that particular relief operation before prior onboarding. Like today is the relief operation, then next week is his boarding the ship.
Mm-mm.
So he looked fine, like healthy, uh, young guy who will get on board first time as a third officer. And then when he got on board, he went missing after 2 months.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
so
That's sad.
yeah, he went missing, and then after that, few months after that, a junior of mine from my school um jumped off the ship,
Mhm.
but he was fished out. I mean, we were able to the crew were
To
able
save
to
him.
was able to save him, man
Ah,
overboard. And then
mm,
that made me realize that the mental challenges these seafarers are
yes.
facing,
Mm,
them being so resilient because they go, they have like around 9 to 10 months on board ship. Ito na lang din po
9
itong
to
panahon na
10.
to. Yeah, but
Yeah. Oo.
before 1 year, 2 years, now it's
Ah,
related to
so
that.
that's
Yeah,
wonderful. No,
yun
development
po.
yan. Mm-mm.
I think that's always been an issue until up to now. That's why their mental, when they come back here, seafarer friends, when they come back here, they always parang Gold Foundation is such their parang rest. I mean, they
Mm-mm.
heard there, they're welcome every time to our place and my own personality. So I always see this challenge within the community we serve.
Mm-mm. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bien. No, and we really, as we speak right now, no, it's like we offer, these conversation, the energy that we're co-creating, as a little community here for their health and well-being. Because I know that the core issues, revolve around the 7 pillars, that we really very strongly advocate for. Kailangan po kasi ang development ng isang tao ay hindi lamang patungkol sa pera, hindi po ba? No, kahit tapunan natin ng pera ang ating mga problema, hindi pa rin po talaga masusolusyonan, how we survive, how we thrive and flourish, and our long-term happiness, no? Alam ko sa mga pagsasaliksik, and we will ask Marisa and her team later on, that there are the core issues surrounding our seafarers is, as Bien indicated, mental health and isolation. Ipagpalagay na natin na yung 1 to 2 years, nakat ng 9 to 10 months. Still, magpapakita tayo shortly ng mga videos na talagang namili kami ng mga videos na pinupost mismo ng ating mga seafarers, no? So, ano yung pagmasama ang panahon, ano yung nakikita nila, ano yung ginagawa nila, no? Meron din tayong ipapakita na counting maiksi na news from CNN. Tapos fini-feature nila yung isa sa mga kapitan, no, ng barko at saka yung kanyang crew, no, and what they actually face, good, bad, ugly, no, as they go on their sojourns, no. Hindi ko nga alam kung naghahanap ako ng tinatanong ko rin yung mga kamag-anak ko, no, ng mga seaman. Totoong-totoo pala yung safety, no, and security, kasi maraming pirata. No? May pirata talaga sila na na-encounter on the way, no? So, ayan, mental health and isolation, safety and security, syempre, physical well-being, no? Hindi ko alam, meron, paano sila nagwo-workout, no? Spiritual and social disconnection, financial pressures, syempre, no? Yung bang pag-uwi nila, yung pinadala na pera, pakaubos na at naubos sa ibang paraan. Hindi ko alam kung, I'm just theorizing kung nangyayari yun. At saka syempre, parang gusto rin natin malaman ano yung professional challenges na kanilang kinakaharap, no? Panoorin natin to saglit.
Hans Antonio has been working as a seafarer for 8 years now, helping navigate tankers from port to port. He's currently on vacation in Manila, Captain Noli Abora and his crew are now on port in Malaysia. Their oil tanker has yet to set sail due to the impact of the pandemic on global shipping.
Nagkakarga kami ng both petroleum products and raw chemical products.
Mostly ang barko ko ay tanker. So, nanggaling ako ng mga chemical, oil, methanol.
Both Antonio and Captain Ebora say a seafarer's life, like the waters they sail through, has its smooth and rocky moments. It's Antonio's job as a navigation officer to help captains like Noli to map out the safest route.
Di baling may delay ng isang araw, 2 araw. As long as na safe kami makakapunta sa destination namin.
During particularly rough times, seafarers know they are at the mercy of nature and they can do nothing but hope and pray. Interestingly, once they get the all clear to set sail for China, Captain Ebora and his crew will use the same route taken by the ill-fated Gulf Livestock 1.
Dadaan kami doon sa area yun. At saka nga yung panahon ng taga-bagyo. Kailangan namin paghandaan yun at saka nga, kasama nga yung dasal na sana, maiwasan namin kung anumang bagyong mararanasan namin.
Man-made threats also hound seafarers around the world, foremost among them, piracy and harassment at sea. And Captain Ebora knows something about the latter all too well. He, along with 21 other Filipino seafarers, stood their ground and insisted on passing through Scarborough Shoal after being harassed by Chinese ships last year. Indeed, commitment to duty, resilience, and dedication to family are the qualities that continue to make Filipino sailors the most sought after by shipping companies around the globe.
Para kaming adjustable wrench na idaan mo sa hirap, idaan mo sa ginhawa. Minsan ay medyo nahihirapan sumakay, andyan pa rin.
Ang Pilipino kasi ay likas na masayahin. Kahit na naghihirap na, tapos naghihirap na, tapos hirap na sa trabaho, pawis na, wala pang kain, minsan nagkukuha pang tumawa.
For Antonio, Captain Ebora, and many other Filipino seafarers, it's a career fraught with risks. But if it would help improve the quality of life of their families back home, then it's all well worth it.
Mate ko, shipmate, engineer. Hello po.
Paulo Barcelon, CNN Philippines.
Commitment to duty, resilience, and dedication to family. Gusto ko yung sinabi nila, likas na masayahin. Marisa, I was going to ask you, having seen that short clip from CNN, ano po ang iyong masasabi patungkol sa ating seafarers?
Nako, Susan, nakaka-proud talaga. And if there's one person who's really so proud of belonging to this maritime, this seafarer family, it's really me. And everything I saw since I was a baby, since birth ba. And then talagang, and of course the circle of friends of my parents were also seafarers, mga officers.
Wow.
Also, my father met my mother through the Philippine Nautical School because yung mga mga kapatid ng classmates, sila rin ang nagkakakilalanan, di ba? So I'm a really true blue, red, white, and blue product of Marino family talaga. Since kalololohan. Nakaka-proud talaga. And when I see all the seafarers and they're happy, minsan gusto ko na lang rin i-erase kung ano talagang nangyayari sa lupa kasi I mentioned nga na it's such a struggle kasi for the family and for the seafarer. That's why it also behooves us to know that our place as a member of the family ng seafarer, kailangan din medyo responsable tayo. Kanina, nag-chat ako, sabi ko I have 2 stories regarding yung mga drama na
Yes po.
In my work with GASFI, we publish children's books that the themes are only about seafarers.
Wow.
Seafarers and their families. So these are children's books na talagang themed ng seafarer family situations. We have one very controversial book. It's called Why Uncle Martin Can't Fix My Bike. Now, I am going to ask you, and I'm just going to leave it at that, why Uncle Martin can't fix the bike of the kid. And I also have a real life story na, we do pabahay also in Simas Village in Dasmariñas, Cavite. Many a time, it's been 34 years old already. It's 34 years old. Pero yung mga storya ng mga seafarers na awardees ng program,
Opo.
talagang madudurog puso mo. Kasi akala niya nagbabayad ng bahay yung kanyang wife.
Mm-mm.
Right? Pero hindi pala bayad. So babalik siya thinking yung bahay is bayad, yung pala ang dami-daming utang, dami-daming outstanding. And so on and so forth. Even nung nasa hospital din ako when I was running the hospital,
Yes.
women's hospital in Intramuros, so many stories for our seafarers and families. Iba-ibang klase. Talagang kung gusto mong gumawa ng endless teleserye ng buhay, ito na talaga yung
Mm-mm.
ito na
Sana
talaga
gumawa kayo. Mag-produce kayo.
ito na talaga yung
Miss Marisa.
material na sobrang
Mm-mm.
never ending. But we
Mm-mm.
are very proud. We are very proud to belong and overcoming all the challenges.
Mm-mm.
It's real. It's real.
Thank you. I want to follow through with a question since you mentioned that you come from a family of I like to use that word mariners. No, no. If your father, the late Captain Gregorio Oca, were here today, what might he say about the current situation of our seafarers, Marisa? Because you know him so well. What will he say?
Actually, we've really gone a long, long, long way, Susan, from the time na nakita ko in the 70s. In fact, my father's story is one of, I guess, yung mapapansin pa kaya kami, yung
Mm.
ganong klaseng realidad na in the 70s. Because he himself, he went on board, no, and he was employed. By
Mhm.
then, we used to have a maritime we used to have ship owners, Susan. Our country in the 50s, may mga
Okay.
ship owners, Madrigal, Compañía Maritima, mga
Yes.
they were all ship owners, no? Pero syempre, hindi masustain, hindi na sustain siguro. My father's boss was a Spanish captain, Spanish Filipino. So
Mm-mm.
in those days you have to speak Spanish to understand or
Oh.
understand Spanish because the kapitan will just get angry because they had mestizo officers for their ships. And in the 70s, I know walang kukuha ang unang seafarers na kinakailangan. Minsan wala, there was none. So I know for a fact na we would get dock workers to find out if they would like
Oh.
to go on board, and that was the start. And pala kanina,
Mhm.
it was Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines. So let us not
Union.
forget the
Okay.
seamen, no? Not just officers.
Yes.
So
I see.
dalawang rango yan, ratings
Got
and
it.
officers. Talagang malaking population yung ratings, no? And nag-umpisa yun sa ganun. And my father would tell me the story of how one tanker group relied and put their trust in Filipino seafarers for the very first time in the 70s. This was the Stolt tankers. So if anybody
Mm.
was from Stolt Nielsen, they're a
Oh.
Norwegian group. Stolt Nielsen, Jacob Stolt Nielsen came to the Philippines, and the Sun came, and they really put their trust in Filipino seafarers. Matagal na build up talaga until all the ship owners in the world look to the Philippines to know that we had the best crew on earth. So
Mm.
magiging proud na ng father ko. Sobra, he
Mhm.
will be very proud that we've come
We've come this far.
this far. Yes, he will
And
be very
thank you.
proud. Yeah.
And thank you so much to you and, of course, the Gold Foundation for carrying on his legacy. Gusto kong pagtunan ng pansin, Dr. Shelley. No, it's like, since we're talking about, you're correct, no? And thanks for calling out not to use the word plight because it's kind of like, it might give the wrong picture. No? But if I were to ask you, kasi nga sabi natin, how are our seafarers doing now, no? How are they doing, and what are the lenses that you use, no, for you kung meron pong parang kumbaga dashboard, no, sa industriyang ito, no, at sila yung nagpapatakbo, lifeblood, kamusta na po sila, no? How are they?
Thank you very much, Ms. Susan, for that question. You just mentioned that seafarers are the lifeblood of the industry. While the seafarers are the lifeblood, let us not forget that the heartbeat of the seafarer is the family.
Mhm.
Sinabi na kanina sa video na they do it for their family. So the narrative of para sa pamilya is always there. If you ask them bakit sila sumasakay ng barko, why they continue to do everything, it's for the family. So if you're going to ask them how they are, I think the best question also to ask follow up is how is their family, so that you can gauge how the seafarer is. That's how you can see them. How is their family faring? Kamusta na ba asawa? Kamusta anak? Kamusta ang nanay at tatay? Remember, there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. But for seafarers and their families, it takes a seafarer to raise a barangay. Okay? Because seafarers take care of not only their immediate family, their extended family, but also
Buong barangay.
the whole barangay. Because it's also a way for them, two things, is to show to them that their migration was successful. That's one. And second is to keep connected to their community. So it's not uncommon for seafarers and their families to sponsor town fiestas or yung mga
Kasi
Santa Cruz
nilalapitan sila for funds,
for
sponsor.
fun.
Oo.
And seafarers, especially in the province, they earmark their wives earmark a portion of what they earn for that because it's a way for them to keep connected with their community. So really, when you want to know how seafarers are, aside from their profession, you really have to take into consideration how they are as with their family, so that you will know how they are able to manage themselves when they are on board. May mga kwento nga na pag nakakita ka ng seafarer na medyo malungkot or medyo mainit ang ulo, siguro walang email yan, walang letter yan galing sa pamilya.
I see.
So, ngayon may email na, pero nung panahon namin, ni Mama Risa, snail mail pa yan, tsaka tape recorder. Pero ngayon, may FaceTime na, may Messenger, na you can see them online. But during my time, you have to write letters, it's in longhand, ipapadala pa yan through the agent. So, ang kwento nun, pag hindi ka makakuha ng letter na pag nagdi-distribute na, ay naku, ano na nangyari sa pamilya. So those are things that we seafarers have to endure or think about when it comes to their profession at sea, because they live and they work at sea. So they also live out their family life at sea.
Yes, and I'm just curious, no, because you do research, no, what are the what's the statistics, if you can kind of put a size and shape, no? Kasi kung 526,000 yung mga seafarers, and we've seen, their end of the whole experience, no? And you say, kahit yung immediate family lang, does that, parang multiply ko, hindi ko alam kung tama yung equation ko, 526K times, say, 5, parang kasama si spouse, for children, no? That would amount to about 2.6 million. Direct yan. Siyempre, wala pa dyan yung extended family, which is how we are as Pinoys, no? Parang walang pinagkaiba sa OFW. Ganun din po ba? Yung parang ang family, kung saan, let's say, I don't know what the behavior is, nagpapadala din ba ng balikbayan box or hindi? Paano yun? Paano yung pagkakaalam nyo? So two-prong, the number and how, they send whatever their family needs apart from money.
Okay, thank you for that. We don't really have a specific number because there's really not much data when it comes to seafarer families. However, 20 years ago, they said that seafarers come from large families. So usually six siblings, 2 parents, so you can just imagine 8. And then they say that, seafarers tend to have 3 to 5 children. So, and then they have extended family members. Remember, seafarers earn more tend to earn more than land-based migrants. So because of their financial capability, syempre yung mga kamag-anak doon din titira sa bahay, di ba? Or marami kayong tinutulungan. So when you talk about left behind families ng Marino, you can just imagine how the extent of it. That's why I say it takes a seafarer to raise a barangay. Kasi totoong
Tama.
barangay ang kanilang
Oo
kayang,
nga.
that
That's
they
true.
look after, right?
Mm-mm.
And may I ask again, if can you ask what's your second question again, if I may ask?
It has to do yung sa behaviors of how they nai-associate ko lang sa OFW who are typically
Ah,
land-based, no?
okay.
Madalas ang gagawin niya, parang yung sa, and the breadwinner is halatang nanonood ng ano, no? Vice ganda ng movie, no?
Okay.
Yung alam mo yun talagang pinagkakasya sa isang balikbayan box. Ganun din ba yun, no? Or hindi?
Ah, okay. Balikbayan boxes is not really as far as I know,
I
Mama, it's not
see.
because they don't have means to,
Mm,
bring those and send it out.
oo,
Because as I said, seafarers are
nasa
in
barko.
transit. So
Yes.
how can they send it out? However, it is a practice among seafarers na pag may umuuwi, may padala. Pero hindi pwedeng
Mhm,
mabigat yon kasi nga
mm.
ipapasama mo lang yan. So it's either pera or yung may mga sapatos, damit, those also happen, but it cannot be bulky.
Mhm, I
So,
see. Hmm,
on a personal
interesting.
experience as a daughter of a retired seafarer, uh, pero it was very rare na my dad would send something. Kasi nga, iisipin mo din, yung sariling aalis ng mga marino, may sariling bit-bit para sa pamilya nila.
Mhm, mm. Got it. Thank you for that firsthand experience. No, I want to ask Bien. No, Bien, I rattled off some of the core issues, no, that are being faced not just by our seafarers, but also, the other side of things, no, as both Isang and Shelly have mentioned, no, sa experience mo, because you deal with them directly as well, no, the empowerment of the wives, the mothers, perhaps even the children, no. Pray tell me, no, what kind of programs do you have, no, that will address the most prominent, no, needs that they have, no, the members of our seafarers families?
All right. Thank you, Miss Susan. For the members of the families and seafarers, right? I'd like to discuss first. I mean, I'd like to share with you first few of the challenges facing the industry, the seafarers and their
Sure.
families. Primarily the seafarers. So number one, of course, still isolation and mental health. Because
Mm,
now the data. I mean, I have been to an international conference this week.
mm-mm.
It's a convention of diplomats with regard to the human rights of seafarers, because
Yeah.
seafarers' rights is officially recognized by the UN as human rights.
Mm-mm.
So number one discussion there is isolation and mental health. There's safety risks. Ay, isa
Mm-mm.
pa rin pong problema yan. And legal and social issues. So problems like ambulance chasing, unfair
Oh.
claims, illegal recruitment. And
Mm.
future pressures. This one, hindi pa po siya masyadong pinag-uusapan, pero it is a trend now.
Mm-mm.
New demands with decarbonization,
Yes.
that greener ships, cleaner fuels, and digitalization, the automation of ships. So it's kind
Mm-mm.
of pressure for the seafarers, and because ano po they need to adapt and thrive to that as well. Because if not, we will miss the placement of number one country to deploy most of the seafarers worldwide.
Yeah.
So these are just the problem. But as Gold Foundation, we're just little we are just a small organization, and we can only address some issues. So just last year up to now, we are having this gold protection program to
Mm-mm.
tackle or to discuss or address issues, legal and social issues of seafarers and their families. So karaniwan po kasi sa industry, I mean, sa community namin, gusto nila lagi seminars, kanya forums,
Mm.
tapos
Oo.
feature ops, yan. So
Oo,
medyo
photo
iba kasi,
ops.
opo, mga photo ops,
Okay.
mga documentation, publication, yan. Pero hindi din po kasi doon natatapos yung pagbigay ng solution sa problema. You have to really talagang gagapangin mo din yung asan nagmumula ang problema. So, i-post ko lang yung question. Ang seafarer, pag tinanong mo seafarer, para saan sila nagtatrabaho talaga, nagbabarko, and they really need to go through these challenges is because of the family talaga. So
Mm.
binalikan natin yun, Gold Foundation, binalikan yung aspeto na yun, no? Na what if we have programs for their families? Na,
Mm.
I mean, involving their families so they know that okay, our family is doing fine. They're being taken care of with these organizations, not just us, of course, and empower them to also educate and empower their seafarers. Kasi sometimes kala natin ang pinaka malakas sa decision making sa family seafarer kahit kapitan. No, it's the wife, the
Mm.
mother, the girlfriend, no, charot lang
Tumbak.
po sa girlfriend, pero
Mm.
mother and wife po yan. So we had a program empowering these people to, to cascade all this information to help us educate the community because we can only do so much. Dalawa lang po kami sa Gold si Miss Shelly and
Mm.
me. And then, nasa Alabang kasi si Mama Risa and Cavite, so busy siya. Joke lang. Joke lang. Dalawa lang kami dito. And then si
Andito
Dr.
kami para
Shelly,
tumulong.
si Dr. Shelly nasa dineploy pa siya doon sa Alabang. So ako lang po talaga mag-isa dito. Yeah, joke lang. Pero ganun po, maliit naman power lang kami. That's why we sought help as well. I heard you, no, thank you so much for offering your help. And we tried. We tried before, Miss Susan. I hope in the future. Now, so we developed this goal protection program to address the ambulance chasing and other
Can you
legal and
explain baka po anong ibig sabihin ng ambulance chasing? Ano yan? Dahil
opo.
may injury, ganyan?
Yes, so ganito po yung mangyayari. Partly yes. Ganito po yung mangyayari. So si Seaman, wag naman pag na-aksidente sila and then they have to be medically repatriated back to the Philippines. Siyempre may mga ano po yan, legal concerns, kung nabayaran po ba yung mga bayad nila, tinutulungan ba sila ng kumpanya nila, binigay ba yung benefits nila. So sometimes hindi po nag-end na binayaran lang sila. Merong mga unscrupulous individuals such as lawyers, and sometimes itong po minsan nasa mismong manning agency na sa mga ospital ang mga tao
Mm.
to, they will convince the seafarer to file charges against their ship owners or the employers so they get
Oh, I see.
mas malaking pera.
Benefits.
So imagine lang po
Mm.
isang kamay, example lang po ito, no? Yung isang kamay, pag naputol yung isang daliri ni seafarer pala, and then na-repat siya, per our CBA or our standard uh, employment contract number, kunyari po 2 million.
Mm.
Lalapit, sige, binigay niya 2 million. Tapos sasabihin ng may lalapit sa kanilang mga masasamang tao. Sabihin nila, dude, hindi pa yan 2 million, pwede mo yan palakihin hanggang 10 million, ako na bahala. Wala kang ilalabas na pera. Or sometimes papautangin pa kita para sampahan natin ang kaso. O syempre ang seaman dahil mawawala ng trabaho. Sometimes
Opportunistic, no?
mafo-fall sila doon sa ganung
Mm.
scenario. So
Roy.
sige po, sama po kami diyan. Sige po, kayo na po bahala. O nagpautang si lawyer kunyari, and then tinuloy yung kaso, and then may problema rin po kasi tayo sa sistema natin sa arbitration, no. So sa the government and NLRC, these are the
Yeah.
arbitration supporting things like that. So minsan madalas na nanalo po ang seafarers cases doon. And also corrupt din po kasi yung most of the mga tao doon kasi nababayaran din sila. So papanalo nila yung case because the
Kasi
ambulance
may cut
chaser
sila.
has connected and they have cut doon sa pera na yon. So seafarers ending, yung pinangako sa kanyang 10 million, mapupunta lang sa kanya 200,000.
What?
And
Oh
then may
my
utang pa
gosh.
siya sa seafarer. May utang pa siya sa sa may
Oh,
utang pa siya
that's so
sa
sad.
lawyer. Now, meron pa pong second layer 'yon. Of course, syempre nanalo sila ng 10 million, ayaw naman ng ship owner na malugi. because yung right claim lang naman dapat ang ibigay niya. So magpupunta pa siya ng Supreme Court. I mean I call that one the next to that, to challenge
Court of Appeals. Court of
appeals,
Appeals.
the
Oo.
appeals, Court of Appeals, and then pag nanalo sila, kailangan pong singilin yung 8 million. Kasi 2 million lang naman dapat sa kanya.
Yes.
Right? So that 8 million, saan kukunin ni Seafarer? Wala na po siyang
Nagkakautang pa siya.
correct. So may kwento rin po, I'm not really sure, pero may mga kwento po na talagang pati yung bahay at lupa nila talagang kinukuha para lang pambayad doon sa mga ganon or things like that. So kawawa ang mga seafarer, and it's happening until up to now, even with the enactment of Magna Carta for
Yes.
seafarers. Ayun, so that's just one. And another, so yun po, ang dami ko na na-share, no? Sana may oras
No,
pa.
sakto
Pero
lang,
ito po
Sir
yung hindi natin
Bien.
pinag-uusapan. Ito po yung hindi
Yes,
natin
buti na lang.
pinag-uusapan. Kasi po, this will, like the billion funds that's been corrupted in the government, parang ganito rin po yan, maraming masasagasaan. I even received death threats doing this program.
Oh my
Kaya,
gulay.
kailangan ko na ng bodyguard, Ma'am Marisa. At charot. Armored car. Charot.
Nako,
Ito po, yung
nako.
mga challenges, isang challenge talaga ng seafarers na talagang hindi naman po tutukan kasi wala naman pong pera dito din. And talagang hindi natututukan to kasi madaming magagalit, maraming masasagasaan nga. So, yun po yung challenge natin. That's why kami na lang po, awareness with the community, 50 women, we
Yeah,
empower 50 women.
IEC,
And
no?
now, they're reaching around 200,000 people in the communities because of, they go they go to the companies, they go to their community, to their village, to their things, and talking about this. And may awareness na. And we created an impact that's been, one of the impacts of this program is that mayroon kaming na-outturned not na-outturned, because of the program, a seafarer who has been engaged with an ambulance chaser was able
Yeah.
to be educated about it and nagsisi na okay, this will not help the industry, it will really affect me in the future, so may future employment. So parang tinulungan natin siya para maalis siya sa ambulance chaser, and then nabigyan pa po natin siya another chance to get on board ship. That
Got it.
impact na hindi po nangyayari dito for many years in the industry because people in our community, talagang mga leaders, I'm sorry to share this, baka pagalitan ako ni ma'am, pero talagang daming mga leaders
Ay,
dito na medyo
nako.
nakakainis. Anyway, thank you. Ang daming
Totoo
sinishare.
yan.
Ang daming
Totoo
sinishare.
yan. What I want to, before we go, we shift, back to minds, nakikita po natin yung mga katanungan, no, sa chat, no. So thank you so much for those questions that you've already answered. But before we go into that, and I turn it back to you, minds muna, no, for a couple of things. One is clearly we'll tell them about our other programs, no? Kasi lahat po ng mga programa na meron kami is really for the empowerment of the individual, no? To be self-reliant but also to be appreciative that we are all konektado. Hindi po ba, Sir Bien, Shelley, and Miss Marisa, na hindi po kayo, kahit po maliit lang yung organization ninyo, organisasyon namin, komunidad namin, pag pinagsama-sama po natin, malaki po talaga ang magiging impact natin. Sa totoo lang. Isa sa mga pinag-uusapan namin ngayon sa core team, kako, sige, kung walang gusto, kukuha ako ng permit. Pupunta ako, kahit mag-isa ako, tatayo ako sa EDSA. No? Kasi tama na, sobra na talaga yung nakikita natin. Ano yan? I-joke na lang ba natin? I-meme na lang po ba natin? Ano na ang nangyari sa ating kultura? Tapos yung nangyari po sa industriya ng ating seafarers ay para mong minumultiply sa iba't ibang industriya. Kaya ang isang tanong ko, bago po tayo mag-break ng konti, no, for back to Maida, Miss Marisa, sino po ba? Kasi naniniwala pa rin po ako because we also serve agencies in the public sector, no? Tulad ng DOTR, no, Department of Transportation, no? Well, sa ngayon hindi wala pa po kaming karanasan sa DPWH ay siguro maigi na rin na wala, no? Miss Marisa, sino po ba? Who is that or what agency of government must be held accountable to address the issues of our seafarers?
A few years back, no, it was right now it's the Maritime Industry Authority, is that right? And the DMW
Marina.
and the DMW.
For the trainings.
Yes.
But primarily, ma'am, is the Department of Migrant Workers.
DMW. So see,
Under saan yun? Department yun. Department
Yeah.
of Migrant
It's before
Workers.
it was
bago
POEA.
lang siya.
Before
Okay.
it was POEA.
POE Asia before.
Yes, and now
I see.
yeah, it's Department of Migrant Workers, and then after that is the OWA, and then the
I
Marina, and then the PPA and NMP.
Migrant.
Maraming agencies talaga ang involved.
I see.
Kaso si Marina, parang ano siya, inano na rin niya pati education for seafarers.
And tanong ko, no, whether it's the Department of Migrant Workers, Marina, OWA,
PRC also.
PRC because of the credentialing, no, and all that, no. Kamusta naman? Kamusta naman po?
May I say something lang?
Go ahead. Please, go ahead.
It is only, unlike doctors or lawyers or I think a few seafarers, lalo na sa when you're going up in rank, they're the only industry or the only population that has to get training and exams every year to raise their ranks to captain.
Yep. I know that only too well because of the leadership program interventions that we did for a couple of companies, Aboyeb, no, as well as the Philippine Transmarine Carriers. Napag-aralan po namin yan, no, yung pagpano kaangat, tapos doon din po namin napag-alaman na nagde-deteriorate ang kalidad ng ating mga kapitan at saka mga officers, no? Hindi ko alam kung isolated yun, no? Pero yan yung parang study na I think it was in fact an expat officer of that organization that shared those statistics. Baka po limited lang yung study nila. That's why isa pang takeaway ko, thanks for your takeaway, Juan, is that mukha po talagang kinakailangan na ma-document lahat to, no? Yung mga datos na to, hindi ko alam kung talagang pinag-aaralan, kinakalap siya, makipag-ugnay sa academe para mapag-aralan siya ng mga masteral, graduate students, PhDs, and all that. Kasi sa Philippines, feeling ko behind tayo sa mga pagpananaliksik, sa pag-aaral na yan. Parati ang mga pag kahit sa Google Scholar or something, pupunta ka doon, that's worldwide, di po ba? Kakaunti po yung nanggagaling sa atin, no? So that also shows kabit-kabit yung mga problema ng ating bansa, no? Kamusta na po ang Department of Education?
Si Miss Bai ng Insight. Based on our topics today, how are seafarers faring in terms of remittances? Alam natin na malaki ang impact ng kanilang mga remittances sa ekonomiya natin. However, dahil contractual ang nature ng kanilang trabaho, madalas hindi sila maka-avail ng mga benefits nila kasi hindi sila employed. Example, cannot avail of SSS loan kapag sila ay nasa onshore, or pwede as a voluntary member, but they must be 6 months in voluntary status, which is not viable because they only stay onshore maximum of 2 months. So,
magandang tanong yan. Can we please, FIDA you're operating, can we spotlight that immediately so that gusto nating itanong yan, no? Kila Ms. Marisa, Doc Shelley, as well as Bian, if you can, to the extent that you can answer this question. This comes from former SSS Commissioner Bay Norahata Lonto, who is here with us today.
SSS, yes, contractual sila. So voluntary ang kanilang enrollment sa SSS.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
their employment is contractual because hindi naman talaga tayo ang employers, hindi naman Filipinos ang employers. So,
Mm-mm.
that really limits the capabilities to begin with. Ngayon, what was the so yon. Pero voluntary, yes. Kaya nga in Amusup, we have free hospitalization, we have pabahay, meron silang provident fund. So di ba, ang nag-provide na lang yung mga organizations within the industry because government is not able to.
Yeah. So teka muna para maintindihan ko, Miss Marisa, lahat ba ng seafarers miyembro ng Amosup? Hindi. So hindi po siya compulsory, parang voluntary, tama po ba?
Yes,
I see.
the power of the union, as is we know, is because of unionism and
Absolutely. Yeah,
socialized.
collective bargaining. No?
Socialized. It's a social, di ba, socialized,
Yes.
socialism ang kanyang lean, no? So, napo-provide na natin to for our Filipino seafarers is because we are organized much more than the land-based workers, right? And from time immemorial, since the time that Captain Oka instituted Amusup with his brother, I have to say, in the 50s and 60s, ay talagang yun na yung focus, is mabigyan talaga ng fair conditions on board. Unions have collective bargaining agreements for ships who ply routes that are covered by CBA. The ports, there are very strict ports na pag hindi ka union, tataliin ang barko mo and you have to pay a fine of so many millions of dollars.
Oh,
So if you
I
ply
see.
those ports as a ship owner, you have to be union of any nationality, by the way. Even
I
if
see.
you don't hire Filipino crew, basta union ka.
I see. Got it. What about you, Shelley? What do you have to add to that issue? So about benefits and all that.
Okay, coming from a family perspective, yes,
Yes.
they are contractual, and also it's also up to the wives to make sure, or the partners, or even the seafarers themselves, to ensure that they are their voluntary contribution are up to date. And on a personal note, I have heard of seafarer families who are able to use their the SSS loan because it's usually with the help of the ones who are here on land who get to process it, which
Yeah.
is usually the wife. So, but it's really up to the ones who are left behind who have
Yeah,
to make sure
I
that
see.
these contributions are up to date.
Bien, what do you have to add about kamusta po ang nakikita nating behaviors ng kanilang katuwang, no? Yung kanilang asawa o kapatid or kanino man nila, pinapadala yung kanilang kita, no? Para magkaroon ng benepisyo just in case also anything happens to them. Alam po ninyo, yung tinatawag na safety net, no? Sir Bien?
Yeah, thank you, Ma'am Susan. Well, yes, seafarers remit billions, but they really remain contract workers. Yun po yung context kanina, right? And yung
Yes,
limited
yes.
access to benefits like SSS,
Yes,
SSS
like
loans.
land-based workers, no? Have.
Kaya very impractical sa kanila yung mga voluntary membership kasi impractical talaga yun because lagi silang wala or something like that. Pero pag member ka ng union or organization o maganda yung mga companies mo, magaganda yung mga benefits mo. Pero
I
paano po yung mga
see. Wala.
non-union members? No,
Oo.
so that is something that we need to fix. Kasi wala pong programa talaga sa kanilang something like that. And that's why we need the help of the government, yung political will nila to really provide. I hope this Magna Carta for Filipino seafarers will really be implemented in a way that's very fair and very totoo na serbisyo sa seafarers. But meron po kasi
Opo.
silang isang issue dyan eh. I mean, may lumalabas po, before, ang ating basic salary po kasi ay, I mean, ang remittance, when we talk about also
Sige
remittance,
po.
allotment, right?
Ah,
Ang allotment po before ay 80% of the basic ng allotment ay na pinapadala sa Pilipinas. Yun po yung structure niyan. So 80% of this $1 billion remittances goes to
Pinapadala sa
the Philippines.
Pilipinas.
Ito po yung around ito po yung around 7 billion US dollars
Yeah.
dollar of remittances that is being contributed to the GDP of the GDP. Ngayon, it's projected to double in the next years because Magna Carta included 80% of their basic allotment plus their fixed overtime. Yeah.
Fixed overtime.
Yeah. So example
I
lang,
see.
yeah,
Mm.
yan po yung nadagdagan, yung malpupunta sa Pilipinas. So lalaki lalo. And we're hoping because of that, since it's a law already, may mga ano po yung reaction sa mga seafarers natin yan, medyo hindi masyado maganda sa lahat
Hindi
naman.
sila
But
open.
since lalaki yung contribution namin, baka sana naman po yung mga ganyang SSS loans na ganyan, pag-ibig, lahat-lahat ng mga pwedeng ibigay natin sa kanila, ay ibigay na.
PhilHealth.
PhilHealth, bigyan nyo na kami ng programa like, best practices,
Yeah.
pabahay, mga not just that loans pabahay mismo or else, maraming mga pwedeng ibigay. So we are expecting so much now from the government dahil
Mm.
dahil malaki na yung binibigay na ambag ng mga seafarers na to.
Mismo. Sinabi mo, Sir Bien. Juan, you were raising your hand. Please.
Thank you so much, Miss Marisa, Doc Shelley, and Bien for your insights. I was just going through the questions, and I'm just summarizing, rolling quite a lot of them into one, para we can answer multiple in one. Following your idea of it takes a seafarer to raise a barangay and to nurture a barangay. I think from what you're sharing, it also seems like there needs to be a barangay of a social support network to care for seafarers. What, in your experience, is the best support network that a seafarer
Provide.
have?
Mm-mm.
How can we as non-seafarers help in that support network, kumbaga? Thank you.
Maybe we can start with Bien again, then Shelley, then Marisa to round it off. No? Bien, go ahead.
Yes po. Ano po ulit yung tanong? I was scanning our participants. Mayroon po tayong friend din dito, si Miss Normie Hernandez, who
Yes.
also works for the Seafarers Welfare then from
Thank you, Miss
PPP.
Normie.
So,
Salamat.
Ma'am Normie, hi. Baka po may insights din kayo para ma-share natin.
Yes, share po. Uh-huh.
Sa maritime community then. All right. So sorry, Juan, what's the question again?
What can the community do to help?
The non-maritime.
Oo, kasi, yes, the relatives, ano yung pwede nilang gawin? Since that's the perspective you're coming from, different sides of the coin. Tinignan natin at na-identify natin yung mga core issues that our seafarers face. We see a solution clearly in AMOSUP, but not everyone is a member of the union. Right? Clearly, it's their dapat voluntary kailangan or they are covered by the companies that are employing them. Pero I don't know kasi what the datos are about yung mga not fall between the cracks na they have to take care, sariling sikap. No? So especially for those na sariling sikap, ano kaya ang magagawa ng kanilang pamilya, extended family at yung tinuturing natin na barangay para po makatulong sa kanila?
Yeah, I'll go with awareness. When we talk about this, when we discuss about this, people will be aware of what's really going on. Not just those that are published online and then mga presented in this kind of forum or mga malalaking mga summit or conventions na ganito. But yung reality check, kailangan natin marinig yan, not just coming from us organizations, but the actual seafarers themselves and their families. No? So when we start to really discussing about this, we are providing a platform for this community para pag-usapan talaga yung dapat pag-usapan, not just yung mga interest ng mga ibang, I mean, na hindi naman talaga nagbe-benefit sa kanila o may nagkakaroon ng actual output for them. So awareness. So people in our families should really talk and discuss about this, and join this kind of forum, and also participate sa mga organisasyon ng mga talagang nagcha-champion ng rights and well-being ng mga seafarers. Kasi we can only do so much. Like I
That's
said,
true.
yung piece lang namin sa Gold Foundation, dalawa lang kami. I mean, ilan lang kami, Mama Marisa, may konti lang kami. Pero we try to optimize our resources to really impact more sa life, I mean, impact the lives of seafarers and their families. How much more if we're collaboratively doing this, not just
Absolutely.
our
Yeah.
community and your community. So um we strengthen and empower them through awareness, because really that will be the start of making this I mean, pushing forward and our way forward for this.
Yes. Thank you so much. What about you, Doc Shelley? Anything you want to add to that, especially because you're the one who very graphically described, no, the barangay, especially from first hand experience po. No?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Susan, for putting this together, and Lee for Bien, Mama Risa, to share their experiences and their knowledge as well when it comes to this expertise. Bien said it nicely. You're talking about participation and collaboration. So organizations such as Gold can only do so much in sharing and spreading awareness. Coming from the family perspective or the seafarer family side, members of the seafarer family should be able to engage in a community, whether it's the community, the union, their companies, in programs or activities where they'll be able to understand the issues of the industry and the profession, so that they'll be able to help the seafarer understand the profession, help the seafarer help themselves, and really be part of the community and engaging how can they be better, not just as individuals, not just as a family, but also the community
Collectively.
of collectively as seafarers' wives, seafarers' children, and seafarers themselves. So I think many years ago, Mama Marisa was saying that it's her dream to bring together seafarers' children to be
Mm-mm.
able to work to be able to speak up about the industry
Yes.
itself. So such collaborations, such partnerships with different organizations will really not just help those people inside, but also outside, to spread awareness about the industry, so that, like for example, there are issues that may also be addressed outside. Like for example, the use of uh, terminologies when it comes to seafarer families and dysfunctional.
Yeah.
All those negative perceptions or misconceptions will also
Challenge.
be challenged, or at least given the awareness that okay, people outside the industry will understand. Okay, so
Mm-mm.
we're not exactly I'm talking about ourselves, Mamaris and I and Bien, that we're not coming from dysfunctional families. And then we're also just like any other family or industry that have its own in this issues and challenges.
Mm-mm.
So
That's
again,
true. Very well
engage and
put.
collaborate and participate.
Yes po, makilahok, di po ba, no? Iparinig ang ating tinig, no? Let us find our voice and help others find their voice, which is why we are mounting forums such as this. What about you, Miss Marisa?
Well, sinabi niyo awareness and be very present in the community. For me, I want really to ang gusto ko talaga is yung educating talaga. Sa maritime schools pa lang, sabihin na yung challenges of seafaring life. Sabihin na rin yung future for these cadets that, it's not a joke. Diyan pa lang sa maritime schools, maybe the empowerment is already happening for their families so that they will all be prepared. And then also choice, like have them be very aware. Ito talagang kailangan talaga have our cadets male and female, be very aware to choose a really good spouse, a spouse that's
Oh,
going to take care of their money and their children in the future. Kasi hindi siya talaga biro, very challenged na to begin with, na father away
mm-mm.
or mother away.
Yeah.
And the faith, faith, to the for us to have more faith. There are very many faith-based organizations, Susan, for seafarers.
Mm-mm.
Mission to
Mm-mm.
Seafarers, Apostleship of the Sea.
That's wonderful.
Ang dami-dami. And bakit hindi natin sila ma-empower from these contexts? But I know we are doing our
Yeah.
best. And we invite you, to all of you, to come and join us and find out in our little communities how seafarers and their families are overcoming all these challenges. Meron kaming iba-ibang sites around the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
And so that we can
That's
be
really.
more aware of each other's plights.
Thank you so much, Sis Marisa. No, in fact, kanina she joined us. She is one of those who joined us earlier. You will notice, Miss Maida and Juan, that there was somebody named Christina Palumayan. No, her full name is Christina Capus Palumayan. I actually wanted to call her, but then again, she dropped off from the call. I think she's kind of like a bit shy. But I want to really spotlight and showcase her kasi wife po siya, no, ng isang seafarer, no, who has been in a seafarer, I think, for the longest time. No, I really see how during the absence of her husband, no, we are very close to him. His name is Ibet Palumayan, no. In fact, we're so proud of him. Kaka-promote lang po niya as chief engineer, no. Yay! So we're so proud of him. Nakita ko po na mahirap talaga ang maging ina, no. Feeling mo mag-isa ka lang and you're raising 3 children. But I saw her resilience. I saw, her dedication. I saw her commitment. Nakikita ko rin, how the communication tinitake advantage po talaga nila, that they are aligned when it comes to decisions, no, about how to spend their money, what schools to bring to put their children to, no, how they're being raised. Kaya lang, of course, nakikita ko na siguro to make up for the absence, no, na that's very normal, I think, no. Parang pag-uwi ni dad, no, ng kanilang papa, parang, they go on vacation, they go on na I know can be magastos also, di ba? Na hindi ko po hinahatulan, hindi ko sinasabing masama, pero what we actually also suggest and recommend is to find simpler, maybe not as, expensive or ways to celebrate, not just the presence of the family, and that also answers the question of Juan. Juan, all of us, we actually gather in my brother's house, no? Ang laki kasi nung bahay ng kapatid ko. So it's like, yung sinasabi nating barangay, magkakasama kami, no? So, Ibet, kwento mo kami. Kamusta? Just to watch a movie there together, no? Is a way, and to pray together, no? Because we pray the rosary, kahit po nung pandemic, we would pray the rosary together online. No, that's why when you said faith-based organizations are so helpful. So, maraming salamat to the likes of Christina Capus Palumayan, because without them, baka nagkakawatak-watak ang familia. We also thank the likes of Sister Faustina, Sister Assumpta. They are with the Religious of the Good Shepherd. I know that they are supportive, of seafarers, the women behind the seafarers, and also their families. I wanna, as we wrap up our conversation, parang feeling ko bitin na as always, days. Pero ang gusto ko pong itanong sa inyo, and I'd like to ask that kay Bien, Shelley, and finally with Miss Marisa, what gives you hope? No? What is it that gives you hope? That ipagpatuloy po natin itong ginagawa nating IEC, no? Ako ang commitment ko, we will do everything needful kasi ang aming adhikain po talaga is to connect communities with other communities para yung mga maliliit po na tulad natin mas lumalakas at mas nagkakaroon ng boses. So what gives you hope for us to continue this kahit mahirap? Sir Bien, Dr. Shelley, and Miss Marisa.
Dr. Shelley, you wanna go first?
Go ahead, Doc Shelley.
And Miss
Okay.
Susan Permaida, Miss Tina is here. Still here.
Okay. Hi, teens. I thought you dropped off already. Thank you so much for staying with us to the end. Go ahead, Doc Shelley.
I'll borrow the narrative of seafarer families or seafarers themselves. What gives me hope is para sa pamilya. We do this always for seafarers and their families. So that as long as there are seafarers out there and they have families, we will always have hope because anything is possible, especially when things get tough. Mama Liz would always tell myself and Bien that if you change one life, you get to touch one life, you give one story of that seafarer, this family, that's more than enough. We've done our part. So one seafarer family, more than enough. So always, what gives me hope is always para sa pamilyang ng Pilipinong Marino.
Salamat. Thank you, Doc Shelley. Yeah, that goes a long way. One seafarer, one family. Marisa, finally, your message of hope for us.
Si Bien,
Ako si dulo na si Ma'am.
Ayoko, sorry, Miss Sir
Okay.
Bien.
Sige po, thank you so much, Miss Susan. I think what really gives me hope are the seafarers themselves. Despite yung mga pinagdadaanan nila on board, the long months away, the risks they face, the challenges, they continue to, serve with resilience and dignity. And they still smile, still dreaming for their families, and they still carry the Philippine flag proudly across the oceans. And I also see hope in their families, the wives, the children, and the parents who keep going. These are the people who are building, who build homes and businesses and the communities that out of communities out of those remittances. And finally, I see hope in conversations like this. Because when non-maritime communities begin to understand the life of seafarers and their families, we create allies. And we move beyond just allotments to truly valuing them as nation builders. Seafarers are not just about allotments or pera, but these are nation builders, and that gives me hope for a future where seafarers are not just providers, but fully who are fully seen, heard, and protected and celebrated. Ayan, ganyan po. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very wise words. Mama Marisa, finally from you.
okay, Susan, again, maraming salamat. Inimbitahan mo kami. Like any other senior person, siguro, ang talagang nagbibigay sa akin ng hope is yung on the ground, yung mga kabataan. Yung mga bata dun sa, for example, na we have a K-10 in the Seaman's Village. So, if we are already empowering them, we empower them already with the values of a seafaring and a maritime family. So, humuhugot kami sa values that are already within each of us coming from a seafarer family. So, what gives me inspiration is the next generation.
Yeah, fantastic.
Salamat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marisa. The seafarers themselves, their families and communities, their children. So, my dear friends, as we close, I want to leave you with three thoughts. No? Kasi in TLC, as we said, we are here to co-create one world that is well and whole, which means kabit-kabit po talaga tayo. We have to integrate into each other's lives, no? Three thoughts. One, yung pag-integrate na yan, pag-connect-connect, hindi po siya solo journey. Hindi po talaga tayo dapat nag-iisa yung para lang sa sarili natin. May tendency po kasi ang Pinoy, lalo tigit pag nasa ibang bansa, na yun ang naririnig natin, yun sa mga land-based na sila-sila and all that. Hindi po tayo nag-iisa. Pangalawa, we are all connectors. Kahit po iba-iba ang ating gawain, even if we are in different sectors, we are, part of the human race. So let us transfer the learning from this forum to our own immediate realities, no, our work, our lives, and forward, kumilos po tayo, no? Konektado po tayong lahat sa ayaw natin at sa gusto. Ang nangyayari, no, sa ibang panig ng ating bansa, sobra po talaga tayong apektado, no? So our collective well-being is woven together. Nakahabi po tayo sa isa't isa. So dapat po tayong makialam, no? Kumilos, no? Iparinig ang ating tinig at and we have this forum. Ito po, kaunting-kaunti lang po ang nakukuha nating suporta. No? Wala po talaga tayong financial na suporta para sa forum na ito. Pero 6 hanggang 7 taon na po siya because we know that all of us have the capacity to be weavers. No? So let's continue this conversation in our own communities. Stay well, no? Stay whole, and we'll see you in the next month for a next First Friday forum.